Sacking Maresca solves nothing. In Germany, football clubs have a tradition of wheeling out their directors and other members of the hierarchy to speak to the press alongside the head coach. This is most noticeable at Bayern Munich, where Vincent Kompany is regularly flanked by Director of Sport Max Ebel and Sporting Director Christoph Freund. They offer thoughts and insight into matters which may not necessarily concern the manager, such as squad building and transfers. During his time at Tottenham, before he blew his lid in his final presser, that is, Antonio Conte bemoaned that he had to be the face of the club, and no one else was being held publicly accountable. Maresca made suggestions that he felt the same way without explicitly saying that, though did reveal last month he felt a lack of support after defeat to Atalanta, which seemed to have been the beginning of the end for him. Chelsea, more than any club in England, should be adopting a policy where the sporting directors front for the media. So much is made of their recruitment, so much praise is bestowed upon Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley, yet we never see or hear from them. If Maresca's job was deemed untenable, then theirs should be on the line as well. The club have spent nearly 4 years trying to establish a new identity, which is drifting further away from their previous one of winning at all costs and for no good reason. The owners would do well to convince a better manager to come and work for them. This regime of haphazard planning in the name of the project. Bukayo have now cycled through Maresca, Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter and Mauricio Pochettino as permanent managers, as well as Frank Lampard as an extended caretaker, all while having nowhere near the success of the previous regime upstairs. Massive month ahead, whoever Chelsea's new manager is, they will still have some positives to look at. The mad scramble for Champions League qualification is so jumbled that even this terrible run of form has barely dented their hopes of finishing in the top 4 or 5. There is a Carabao Cup semi-final with Arsenal to look ahead to, though at this rate that may prove a real baptism of fire. Winning cures everything, more so than any playing style that has been the Chelsea way of the modern era, and is exactly why the fan base has soured so swiftly. If the owners are serious about success in the short term as well as the long term, they would also use the January transfer window to bring in some more ready-made players to help steer the team's young heads. That's all nice and easy when written down. But do you actually believe in this Chelsea and its operations to make something of 2025-2026 now? Are Liam Delap and João Pedro any better up top than the ousted Jackson? What's the differential between Pedro Neto, Alejandro Garnacho and Jamie Gittins? Are they even any better than Noni Madueke, who was sold to Arsenal with seemingly little fuss, but is already popular at a better team? Who is Chelsea's best centre-back? Why allocate so much money towards players who won't immediately improve the first-team squad for at least a couple of years? Through 18 months in charge, Maresca ever seemed to know what his best Chelsea team looked like. BBC Sport calculated he made substitutions faster than any other Premier League manager, and he made the most changes to his starting lineups this season. It was a thankless task trying to keep everyone happy. Chelsea used to fight for titles year in, year out. That's because it largely didn't matter who the manager was. Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League and Avram Grant was a slip away from the same feat, just that they had incredible talent to see them through. It's a far cry from their state nowadays. Enzo Maresca and Chelsea parted ways on New Year's Day, January 1, 2026, after a spectacular breakdown in the relationship following a poor run of form in December 2025. The decision sparked significant debate among the football community. Ownership and club model. Critics argue the club's strategy, particularly an obsession with signing players under 25 and building an asset portfolio rather than a winning team, is the root cause of instability. Lack of managerial control. Reports suggest Maresca had disagreements with the medical department over player rotation and felt a lack of control over team selection and transfers, indicating deeper structural problems beyond his coaching abilities. Unrealistic expectations. Some feel the pressure on Maresca was unfair given the challenging working conditions, key injuries to players like Cole Palmer, and a young squad whose expectations needed managing. The club has changed managers frequently, leading some to believe that the identity of the manager is not the primary problem, and that another sacking will just continue the cycle.